charge a man with second-degree murder after finding a body in a well.
The thunderstorms are upon us on this Friday morning. It's going to be a wet one throughout, and it will affect the commute. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And Pittsburgh State University will host the first ever four-state music festival.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll have those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip. We've got some storms in the forecast.
As anticipated, the models have been correct all week long, and this one right on cue here at the 5 o'clock hour originated in central Kansas. Storm report showing it is already capable of throwing down hail as it enters our highlighted counties. Torrential rainfall coming down, including we've got in between Howard and then Eureka and Yates Center. Drop down there, just about to hit Independence. Throwing the lightning tracker and packing that punch. So it's not only the thunder and lightning to go along with the torrential rain, but also too, while we're at it, why don't we go ahead and talk about a little bit filtering through southwest Missouri, leading us to a number of watches, warnings, and advisories. Now the tan indicates a wind advisory all throughout the course of the day. It's going to be windy even after these storms pass through. And the white box that you see right there, that is pretty much the old equivalent of a severe thunderstorm watch, not a warning, but a severe thunderstorm watch. We'll go ahead and put the sweeping radar over that, just give you an idea about exactly what we're seeing right there. That's where we've got the heaviest of the rain coming down. And once again, it's going to be the high winds and the threat of hail. This is progressing from west to east. So everybody on that line right there, and by the time it stretches out north-south, it's going to be pretty much all-encompassing, and that's what we'll have for the rest of our morning. Temperature-wise, we sit in the mid-60s. That's certainly not too bad. After this one rolls through and we get a break this afternoon and the evening, we're going to redo it again tonight. More sporadic rainfall throughout Friday afternoon, and then this band right here. Because when we get one of those diagonal ones this time of year, very well organized with heavy rain lasting all the way through early Saturday morning before it passes through once again. That is going to be a combination of wind and hail as well. Saturday about mid-morning is when we finally are done with that. We'll dry off. It'll be windy on Saturday, but pretty mild temperature-wise. A chance to dry out most of Saturday and then through Sunday. Then we're right back at it, Tanya, as May begins. And Monday brings us additional rain chances.
All right, well, I'd like to say April showers are going to bring us May flowers, but I think we're still going to get those showers. Pilgrims. We've done this already.
If
Michael.
I kept on hammering it for a number of years, I knew eventually we were going to get there.
But it looks like these April showers are bringing us more May showers, so we need to end that cycle for a minute anyway.
I'm just worried about these April showers bringing us some flooding when we get down to southwest Missouri.
Yes. And then come the pilgrims. Maybe that's another word for flooding.
No. That 'tis what it is.
All right, thanks, Michael. Crews will be doing some work on the Will Rogers Turnpike this morning. Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to one lane at mile marker 318 between Miami and the Missouri state line. This starts at 9:30 and runs until 1:30 this afternoon for barrier repair. Drivers can expect minor travel delays and should be alert to workers and equipment on the roadway. Plan your trip accordingly. Authorities in Newton County arrest a suspect after the discovery and identification of a body in a well. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the remains for an autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Oklahoma House gives the green light to a Texas-style ban on abortions. The bill prohibits abortions once cardiac activity can be detected in the fetus. Experts say that's typically about 6 weeks into a pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. Like Texas, The bill also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers or anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion for up to $10,000. The bill now heads to Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who is expected to sign it within days. Missouri faces federal and state lawsuits over lawmakers' inability to adopt new U.S. House districts. Republicans control the Missouri House, Senate, and governor's office, but they have been unable to agree on a final plan to redraw the state's 8 congressional districts based on the 2020 census. The Missouri legislature faces a May 13th deadline to pass a proposal. Hearings have been set in federal court for May 9th and in state court for May 23rd. Lawmakers in the Kansas House approve a measure to authorize sports betting in the state. The measure says 80% of the revenues from a 10% tax on bets would go to incentives for a professional sports team to come to Kansas. It could be about $5 million a year. The state has been trying to lure the Kansas City Chiefs across the state line for a while. This measure could help with those efforts. The bill now goes to the Senate. Well, Kansas lawmakers also moved to phase out the state's sales tax on groceries, the second highest in the nation. The Senate on Thursday approved a plan to phase out the tax over 3 years. It's currently 6.5%. If the bill becomes law, the tax would drop to 4% next January, and then 2% in 2024, and to 0% in 2025. The bill now goes to the House. Earlier this week, lawmakers rejected a plan by Governor Laura Kelly to completely eliminate the tax on June 1st. Arvest Bank celebrates a milestone for an annual campaign. Every year, the bank hosts the Million Meals campaign, where they raise money for local organizations that provide food for people in need. They've surpassed the halfway mark, having raised enough for more than 540,000 meals. The campaign runs through May 28th. Well, this September, Pittsburgh State University can expect about 5,000 people to show up on campus. They won't be students. Campus will play host to the inaugural Four States Music Festival. The event is being put on by Kansas City-based Social House Entertainment. It'll feature 5 country music artists, including Chase Rice. A festival of this size could have a big impact on the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, obviously, anytime you have 5,000 people in your town, you have sales tax implications. They will buy food, they will buy gas, things like that. And a lot of them will probably stay overnight in some of the hotels. So all of that has a very strong financial implication for the city.
Organizers say there will be some contributions back to Pitt State from the festival. Tickets are on sale now. You can find out more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up on our next half hour, our own Chris Warner will tell us more about the Four States Music Festival. Well, the zipper is an invention we use every day that makes life so much easier. We don't really pause to think much about it. So let's do that. Since today is National Zipper Day, National Zipper Day is April 29th because a patent for the modern zipper was issued to inventor Gideon Sunback on that date way back in 1913. Similar inventions dated back to the 1850s. They went by such names as automatic continuous clothing closure, clasp locker, separable fastener, and hookless fastener. The zipper has such a better flow, doesn't it? The company B.F. Goodrich popularized the name zipper in the 1920s. To mark the day, you can post to the social media hashtag National Zipper Day. And no, this does not give you like an out to like run around with your pants open. National Zipper Day means keep it up.
That would defeat the purpose of celebrating Zipper Day. Yeah, that's frowned upon. Yeah, in this political climate, no.
Just know that if that ever happens to me, it's purely an accident.
Elk, Cowley, Butler, Greenwood, Chautauqua, all these counties are affected by this thunderstorm that has now moved into the western part of southeast Kansas. Not only the heavy rain, but also too, this thing has already thrown down hail in the Wichita area. That's what we're keeping apprised of on this Friday morning, because as this progresses to the east, makes its way through the central portion of the four states, eventually into southwest Missouri, it is going to affect our Friday morning travel, and especially when we get down to the southwestern portion of southwest Missouri with the amount of rain that we've had all week long. Our flooding concerns are going to be first and foremost on our minds. Temperatures around 80 degrees today. After this blows through, a little light scattered rain for the rest of the afternoon and evening. Then we've got another organized batch of thunderstorms that move through early tomorrow morning.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Columbus and Girard match up in a doubleheader on the diamond yesterday. We're going to let you know who came out on top. Plus, frightening footage of a burglary caught on camera. And we want to know how you secure your home. And the U.S. gets one step closer to a COVID-19 vaccine for the youngest children. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Columbus and Girard playing some of the best softball in the state all season long. Both teams just one loss coming into last night. Girard 12-1, Columbus 14-1. Titans and Trojans squaring off in Girard, a CNC doubleheader. Game one, Lexi Robinson in the circle, swinging. In the third, check out Jalen Rodriguez for Columbus. Ball up in the air. Jalen Rodriguez says, ball in my glove. What a play by Jalen. Here's your difference maker. Tie game, top of the seventh, runner on third. Aubrey Saporito lays it down. Trojans fake to first. Throw to third, gets away. Katie Simpson scores 3-2 Columbus. Bottom of the seventh, Lexi Robinson hits it on the nose. Tori Tedlock runs it down. Columbus winning this thing defensively. Columbus holds on to win game one, 3-2. Game two, here we go. Defense was great all night. Lexi Stone out and left. Diving catch of her own. Then the basket going for the Titans. Tori Tedlock rips one into right. Katie Lopp comes home. Columbus out to an early lead. They were up 5-0 in the seventh. But Emmeline Sinnecott keeps it from being a shutout. Solo home run for Sinnecott. Doesn't deter Gracie Major, though, who throws a complete game and only gives up one run as the Titans take game two 5-1, sweeping the night from Girard.
Wins were important to us. That was something that we wanted. However, we have to stay focused. That's not. I told them I don't want a doubleheader to be the biggest part of our season. So they got to stay focused and keep working. We have a lot to do still.
Diamond Wildcats happen to be on a roll. Wildcats winners of 14 straight games, 21-2 overall, and just a week left in the regular season. Diamond at home, aiming to stay high. Interstate matchup, got the Colgan Panthers coming into town. Bottom of the third, Madison Bentley, line drive to left. That's going to score 2 runs, make it 3-0 Diamond. Then Emily Schallenberger. Just go dead center. Sit dead red, go dead center. Take it off the fence. Piper Brewer, Cabry, Parmley come around to score. Diamond rolls by Colgan. Final 11-0. Frontenac baseball was on the road, a CNC doubleheader against Galena. Possibly a very special night for Raiders head coach Bill Sullivan. Sullivan needed one win to reach 300 in his coaching career. We'll start in game one. Top of the third, Logan Myers into right center. Myers pulls up with a double, then takes off to steal third. Speed's dangerous, folks. Logan Myers comes in to score. Frontenac leads 3-0. Same inning, Jeremy Rayo keeps it rolling. Rayo with a base hit scores Alex Williams. And after Williams crosses the plate, Kel Turlip with 2 outs. Turlip drops one into shallow right. That scores Rayo for the third run of the inning. Frontenac wins 13-4. That means congratulations to Frontenac head coach Bill Sullivan with career win number 300. Great dude, great family right there. Just for good measure, Frontenac turns around, takes game 2 from Galena, 2-1. So make it career win 301. Here is Coach Sullivan after reaching the milestone.
We've had a lot of great guys come through in the last 23 years that have been a big part of this. Everybody has a piece of it, I feel. There's probably a couple hundred, 250, 300 guys have had a part in this, and it just means a lot that I've been around that long to be fortunate enough to do it.
We were all really wanting to do it for him. He's been a great coach for us. He really wants the best for his kids, and so he's always pushed us to be the best, but he lets us have fun and enjoy it.
I want him to come away. We all talk about being better people, and honestly, they've made me a better person.
Tell you what, he's juggling a whole lot of things. You got to remember, he's got 3 girls on the softball team as well. So he's coaching one team. On the adjacent field, he's got his girls out there playing. By the way, Coach, the girls, they played a heck of a game last night, too. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, Turkish President Erdogan visits Saudi Arabia, the first time he's done so. since the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi back in 2018. And a check on our 7-day forecast from the KOAM Morning News Routine. We are off and running on this Friday morning with thunderstorm activity. Let's concentrate on what's moving in from the west, because strong thunderstorms right now into Elk County, Butler, Chautauqua, and we got Greenwood County in there as well. Excuse me, look at the lightning tracker as not only thunder and lightning, but then if we go to the sweeping radar, you'll see the intensity of this rain coming down. We're going to cruise over an inch as this thing moves through. Now, on top of that, we've also already received storm reports that have come out of the west, including hail that has been a part of kind of the Wichita area right there. Those are the blue icons that you see. Give you an idea of the hail that we've seen: 7/10 of an inch in diameter, 1/2 inch in diameter, and there is 1 inch in diameter of hail coming out of Cowlitz County. 1 inch in diameter of hail, that is nothing to fool around with. So that's what we're going to concentrate on for the rest of the morning as this thing progresses from west to east. It is going to cause some flooding concerns by the time it's all said and done. A severe thunderstorm risk map shows that western to central portion of southeast Kansas in that elevated category, and that is an indicator of not only the hail, but also some very, very strong winds as that thing stretches really from about north central Oklahoma, horseshoes through us, and then doesn't end until southern Nebraska. Speaking of the wind, as it moves in from the south, we're going to see a whole lot of changes here. As Joplin now bumping up around 20 miles per hour, we're going to gust anywhere from 40 to 45 miles per hour, even after the thunderstorms roll through. Temperatures have remained comfortable. Even when the rain rolls in, we manage to stay in the mid-60s, and eventually, and then here's the problem. When you get the warm bubble that comes in out of the southwest and paints us in that yellow area, that is some atmospheric instability that happens, and the warmth actually causes the thunderstorms to be a little bit more intense. Windy after the thunderstorms pass, and then tonight we reload because we've got another one that's going to roll in on us just in time for tomorrow morning. And the one tomorrow morning, just like this one, has the capability to produce not only heavy rain, but also additional hail chances. Watch this thing formulate up to the northwest, and then as it sweeps through early Saturday morning hours, and I'm going to point out that quadrant, the I-49, I-44 quadrant down in Berry County and portions of McDonald and Neosho County as well, because those are already extremely inundated with the moisture we've had this week. 7-day forecast after we get through that. Saturday afternoon and evening should be fine. Sunday a chance to dry out, and then we're right back at additional rain activity for the beginning of May and Monday. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Instapoll and our KOAM News Now Facebook page with our Something to Talk About. In San Bernardino, California, a burglar caught on camera standing over a couple as they slept. Michelle Guile with the startling story.
Video of the burglar shows how he stood inches from the bed where the victims were sleeping in their San Bernardino apartment. Husband and wife Rachel and Kevin Sandoval told me they had no idea he was there.
I play the footage and I'm like, instantly, everything just was like, oh my God, what could have happened? You know, anything could have happened. We don't know.
What's even more disturbing is what the suspect said to a nurse early that morning as she encountered him in the living room. The young woman was caring for the couple's son, Ryder. The Sandovals say the man appeared out of nowhere.
She told me that he said, you should lock your doors. It's not safe around here.
On the footage, the couple saw the suspect right here next to their dresser. It's where Rachel's wedding rings were, her husband's watch, other jewelry, and $4,000 in cash that they needed to pay back rent. It was gone. The frightening break-in happened the end of February, and police are circulating the footage in case it's happened to others. The suspect was recently arrested, but is not being identified. A crime as brazen as this concerns detectives.
When he gained entry and found out that there were occupants of the residence, the fact that he didn't flee at that time is surprising and shocking.
Kevin Sandoval has 5 different video clips of the suspect and estimates he was inside for about 10 minutes. The portable air conditioning unit had been removed from a window, and that's how the burglar got inside.
I get it. You want to break into somebody's house. You need money for whatever. You need money for, okay, whatever, you know, like, but why are you standing there staring at us? Like, what?
Our question for you this morning on the Instapoll: how do you secure your home? Gave you a number of options there. 2 ways to take part. KOAMnewsnow.com/vote delivers you straight to the poll. You can also connect to us via our KOAM News Now Facebook page. We'll get your results later in the show. Come back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the U.S. is one step closer to a COVID-19 vaccine for some of the youngest children. On Thursday, Moderna filed for emergency use authorization for its vaccine in children ages 6 months through 5 years. Mandy Gaither has more on the just released findings from the company's clinical vaccine trial in this age group.
We've submitted here in the United States.
It's the news many parents of young children have been waiting for. Moderna seeking sign-off from the Food and Drug Administration for its vaccine in young children. The company says clinical trials showed safe protection.
When we look at antibody levels, we wanted to see levels that were similar to what we found in young adults, those 18 to 24, and that's exactly what we found. So overall, I think this is a very reassuring result and good news.
Moderna says 2 25 microgram doses of its vaccine was 51% effective at preventing symptoms in children 6 months to 2 years old and 37% effective in kids ages 2 to 6. The company says those numbers are similar to the protection provided against Omicron in adults ages 18 to 25 who take 2 100 microgram doses.
They'll obviously do their very, very thorough review as they always do, but I think there is a general feeling to move fast.
This week, CDC data from an ongoing study of blood samples revealed as of February, roughly 3 in 4 U.S. children under the age of 18 had developed COVID-19 antibodies, indicating they'd been infected by the virus. But officials say vaccines are still critical. It's still unknown how long infection-reduced immunity will last.
You could have antibodies to a previous variant. That protection from those antibodies not necessarily as good as to a current variant.
Earlier this week, the White House COVID-19 response coordinator says it's unclear how long the authorization process will take, but expects kids under 5 to be eligible to get the vaccine in the next couple of months. Well, during the pandemic, more than 300 nursing homes shut down, and that's according to a new report by the American Healthcare Association and the National Center for Assisted Living. They say the closures left nearly 13,000 residents without a home. According to the report, there was already a downward trend for nursing homes, but the pandemic compounded the issue because of worker shortages, limited government funding, and extra COVID-19 expenses. Since 2015, more than 1,000 nursing homes have closed, causing 45,000 residents to find new places to live. Gun violence in the U.S. rose during the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to a study published Thursday in JAMA Network Open, there were roughly 4,400 excess deaths linked to firearms between March of 2020 and the following February. There were also more than 10,000 excess non-fatal injuries. Findings came from data collected by the nonprofit Gun Violence Archive. 4 states, New York, Illinois, Michigan, and Texas, accounted for most of the shootings. Researchers cannot say if COVID-19 itself factored into the increase of gun incidents compared to other issues, including civic unrest. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Coming up, authorities in Newton County charge a man with second-degree murder after finding a body in a well.
Friday morning marks the beginning of 24 hours of thunderstorm activity with the possibility of some damaging winds. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And Pittsburgh State University hosts the first ever 4 States Music Festival.
The 4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip.
2 distinct rounds, Tanya. One that we're in the midst of right now, another one that is headed our way late tonight into early Saturday morning. Let's concentrate on first thing first, because this batch is out in Elk, Chautauqua, Greenwood counties. Wilson County, now it's moved into Wilson County as well, with very heavy rain and a ton of lightning. This thing is also capable of throwing down some hail, anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch in diameter. As it progresses toward the central and eastern portion of our highlighted counties, our flooding potential increases, especially for southwest Missouri, where we saw the majority of the heaviest rain from yesterday. That being said, we also have wind advisories and the new special weather statement that's coming out, and that's indicated in the white. And what we've seen that, think about that as the equivalent of the old severe thunderstorm watch, not a warning, but a watch. We're seeing this little patch graduate to the east right there. This thing is moving at 25 miles per hour. So what we're able to do, thanks in part to the Skywatch Weather Center, is we can almost give you an idea about what we're looking at time-wise here. And what we'll do is kind of take our storm cone. Let's go from the leading edge just around the Chanute area and kind of stretch that out. Now remember, these times are going to be approximated, and what we'll do is kind of throw them down there. But yeah, as that thing continues to roll through, we're looking at about the 6:15 to 6:30 time frame for Joplin. Now, I mentioned that was round one, because here comes round two tonight. Formulates up to the northwest, and as this thing rolls through, this is going to be more rain, and that's going to throw down some 50, 60 mile an hour winds with it as well. Eventually it will clear off. Saturday late morning through the afternoon will be fine. Sunday will be dry, and really after these two rounds, Monday gonna look a little tame, even with the rain that we will get.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Yep, so it looks like hail this morning and wind tonight. Combo that with, increased chance of flooding.
It's always something, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Tis the end of April.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, authorities in Newton County arrest a suspect after the discovery and identification of a body in a well. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the remains for an autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Crews will be doing some work on the Will Rogers Turnpike this morning. The Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to one lane at mile marker 318. That's between Miami and the Missouri state line. It starts at 9:30, runs until 1:30 this afternoon. This is for barrier repair. Drivers can expect minor delays and should be alert to workers and equipment on the roadway. Please plan your trip accordingly. Pittsburgh State University will have 5,000 additional people on campus this September for one day only. KOAM's Chris Warner explains why.
The campus of Pittsburgh State University is home to thousands of students every year. This September, it'll play host to the first ever Four States Music Festival, featuring a number of country music artists. Nick Noland is the owner of Social House Entertainment, which is putting on the festival.
You know, we just thought that it was a great opportunity, and I think there had been some kind of previous conversations where Pitt State wanted to do something like this, but didn't maybe know exactly how to do it or have the right partner. And I stepped in and met Pitt State and just really kind of hit it off. And our visions were, very much aligned, and we were off to the races.
Nolan says that made Pitt State a perfect fit for the festival and provided just what they were looking for in a venue.
So we're building it in the field right next to the football stadium there at Pitt State. So really it gives us kind of a blank canvas to start with to really build out kind of what we had envisioned.
One concern that's come up is alcohol on the campus. Pitt State President Dr. Steve Scott says they're already prepared.
We sell alcohol at our football games now. So that's not anything new to us. When I was here as a student, we used to sell alcohol in the student center. So sometimes these things come full circle. But I would say that we take that particular element of the shows seriously, and we'll be doing our due diligence leading up to the show to make sure that that's done appropriately.
Pittsburgh Deputy City Manager Jay Byers says all these visitors will have a big impact on the city as well.
Well, obviously, anytime you have 5,000 people in your town, you have sales tax implications. They will buy food, they will buy gas, things like that. And a lot of them will probably stay overnight in some of the hotels. So all of that has a very strong financial implication for the city.
In Pittsburgh, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Nolan says there will be some contributions back to Pitt State from the festival. Tickets are on sale now, and you can find out more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's Michael with a look at your forecast.
Here's what we're tracking. I want to point out this area in the white that you see. That is essentially the thunderstorm activity for Elk, Wilson, and Greenwood counties. Here is the current radar with the heavy rain. There's a ton of lightning involved with that as it progresses to the east-northeast at 25 miles per hour. This is going to affect the rest of the 4 states for the rest of the morning. Moving into Joplin in between about 6:15 to 6:45. After that, temperatures, let's go 80s today. And remember, we've got round 2 coming tomorrow morning.
All right. This morning, we are discussing home security. We've got a frightening story out of San Bernardino, California's home camera shows a burglar in the home of Rachel and Kevin Sandoval. What's worse is the video shows the burglar standing over the couple's bed while they slept. Both Rachel and Kevin said they had no idea the man was standing there. Kevin has 5 different video clips of the suspect. He estimates he was inside for about 10 minutes.
Our question for you this morning on the KOAM News Now Instapoll is, how do you secure your home right now? Tanya, the winner is 30% saying lock the doors. Other options include a dog, a gun, alarms, all of these, or perhaps you've got another means. Qualified that under the other. You can take part each and every morning. KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or via our Facebook page, KOAM News Now.
All right. Thanks, Michael. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, you're going to get a kick out of this story. It's about an 82-year-old grandmother who's training for her second black belt. Plus, President Biden gets set to ask Congress for another $33 billion to aid Ukraine. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, President Biden is asking Congress for more financial support for Ukraine, saying the war will only grow more costly if Russia's aggression is left unchecked. Missile strikes hit Ukraine's capital yesterday, the latest in a barrage of strikes around the country. Bradley Blackburn has details.
Russian missiles rocked the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv Thursday, hitting several buildings and injuring at least 10. The attack came just about an hour after the head of the United Nations met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the city. Secretary General Antonio Guterres also traveled to the suburbs to witness the destruction that the invasion has caused.
Ukraine is an epicenter of unbearable heartache and pain.
While some semblance of normalcy has returned to the capital since Russia was repelled from the north, the strikes are a reminder that the war is far from over. This week, Russia targeted cities across Ukraine, but remained focused on the eastern and southern regions. In Mariupol, bombing continued at the steel plant where the last fighters remain, holed up with civilians hoping to evacuate. Russia says cruise missiles launched from the Black Sea targeted weapons supplied by foreign countries like the U.S.
We're not attacking Russia. We're helping Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression.
In Washington, President Biden is asking Congress for $33 billion to continue supporting Ukraine.
The cost of this fight is not cheap, but caving to aggression is going to be more costly if we allow it to happen.
The request is likely to be approved, with Republicans saying the Ukrainians have earned it because of their will to fight. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
President Biden says the money from last month's package is almost completely spent, and that was for $13 billion, less than half of what the president is asking for now. Canada's capital city is preparing for another big rolling protest as the weekend approaches. Hundreds of protesters on motorcycles are expected to thunder into Ottawa this weekend. Canadian authorities have concerns it could turn into a repeat of the Freedom Convoy truckers' protest. The Rolling Thunder Ottawa event does have the support of several groups involved in the Freedom Convoy protest. In an effort to stop another citywide shutdown, Ottawa police have already closed several roads. About 800 RCMP officers have been sworn in as special constables to support local police. For the first time in 4 years, Turkey's president is visiting Saudi Arabia, hoping to repair and revive a strained relationship. Mr. Erdogan was greeted in Jeddah by Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Assad. Relations between the two countries soured in 2018 after the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. Earlier this month, Turkey stopped its trial of suspects linked to the journalist's death, transferring the matter to Saudi Arabia. Move strongly condemned by human rights groups. Mr. Erdogan's office says he will discuss economic cooperation during his 2-day visit. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back with the news you need to know before you head out the door. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities in Newton County identify the body found in a well on Wednesday and arrest a suspect for his murder. Tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the body for autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Oklahoma House gives final approval to a Texas-style ban on abortions. The bill prohibits abortions once cardiac activity can be detected in the fetus. Experts say that's typically about 6 weeks into a pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. Like Texas, the bill also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers or anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion for up to $10,000. The bill now heads to Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who is expected to sign it within days. Kansas House approves a measure authorizing sports betting in the state. The measure says 80% of the revenues from a 10% tax on bets would go to incentives for professional sports teams to come to Kansas. Could be about $5 million a year. The state has been trying to lure the Kansas City Chiefs across the state line for a while, and this measure could help with those efforts. The bill now goes to the Senate. And Kansas is moving to phase out the nation's second highest state sales tax on groceries. The Senate on Thursday approved a plan to phase out the tax over 3 years. It's currently 6.5%. If the bill becomes law, the tax would drop to 4% next January and then 2% in 2024 and to 0 in 2025. The bill now goes to the House. Earlier this week, lawmakers rejected a plan by Governor Laura Kelly to completely eliminate the tax on June 1st. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
This thunderstorm system moving about 25 miles an hour from west to east. The lightning really increasing now, even creeping into Crawford County. For those of you in the Columbus, Pittsburgh, Riverton, even Joplin area, you have to pick up any strikes from the Joplin Tower Cam. But if you look out to the west, you will see the skies illuminating. Very heavy rain throughout the rest of our morning in the Joplin area here. Around 6:30, 6:45, a 7-day forecast. This is going to roll through after that. Temperatures up close to 80 today. And coming up here in a bit, we'll talk about what to anticipate tonight into Saturday when we return.
An 82-year-old Boston grandmother is training to earn her second black belt in martial arts. This after Stephanie Brooks earned her first black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 66. Chris Flanagan has her story.
It's safe to say Stephanie Brooks gets a kick out of life. The North Andover grandmother is 82 years old and is training to earn her second black belt in martial arts. Stephanie earned her first black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 66.
Since the first one didn't give me any satisfaction or joy, I take great joy in this. A black belt.
Training for another black belt, this time in Tung Soo Do Karate. has helped Stephanie navigate through her immense grief when her husband passed away in 2002. They were married for nearly 40 years.
Hey!
Training and keeping busy, giving Stephanie the spark in life she says she was so dearly missing. And her enthusiasm is contagious every time she steps into the studio.
Big moment for her. She's been training for years, and I can't think of anybody with more spirit than she does.
Stephanie Brooks proving that age is just a number, and that it's never too late in life to attack a goal.
I feel as if I'm living again. I hope I can do Tang Soo Do right up until I kick the bucket with a good sidekick.
You go, girl. When the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're going to introduce you to a local martial arts instructor who recently earned his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how he's bringing the sport to the Pittsburgh community. We've got another look at your forecast when we return.
Thunderstorms abound throughout southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Look at all the lightning that's throwing down as well. This is simply round one. We've got another one headed our way tonight into Saturday morning. Take a look at our time frame when we return.
Coming up, authorities in Newton County charge a man with second-degree murder after finding a body in a well.
Friday morning thunderstorms already producing hail. We'll have the latest storm reports from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And Pittsburgh State University will host the first ever Four States Music Festival.
The Four States Most Watched News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I am Tanya Bach. We will get to those stories in just a moment, but Michael mentioned hail. Let's get to that right away.
Yeah, when we started, this has just crept into our highlighted counties throughout southeast Kansas, now pretty much all-encompassing all the way down into northeast Oklahoma. So far, we have been spared the hail, but that does not mean that this thing is over. The storm reports coming out of Cali County as much as an inch in diameter. That is a legitimate hailstone now, as this moves toward the state line, eventually crossing over into southwest Missouri. And we're going to have to put up with this here for next hour and a half, 2 hours. On top of that, we've got wind advisories and some special weather statements. That special weather statement, think about that as the equivalent of the old severe thunderstorm watch, not the warning, the watch, but there we are. For portions of it's been through Chautauqua, Elk, Greenwood, now pushing into Wilson County. And then what we see in tan is the high wind advisory, because we're going to gust around 40-45 miles per hour this afternoon. After this does pass through, our temperatures are going to reach up around 80 degrees, but we've been mentioning this is simply round one of Friday into Saturday. After round one passes, we got a well-defined and organized system that moves through early tomorrow morning, and that thing is going to produce additional high winds and, once again, hail. As this thing rolls through, especially want to point out the I-49 to I-44 quadrant because of the amount of rain that it picked up last week into this week, flooding a major concern. All right, mid-Saturday morning, we can all take a deep breath. Majority of Saturday and Sunday are going to be delightful. Sunny skies, highs in the 70s. And then guess what happens Sunday night into Monday, Tanya?
Well,
let's roll thunderstorm activity.
Really? Okay.
Yup.
Fun, fun, fun.
Limit your time outside, folks, like we always talk about with lightning. Not one of those things that we can predict where it's going to hit, but here it's been one of those years. It seems like we've had an inordinate amount of lightning damage here in the four states. So don't take any chances, you know. Let's limit that time outside this morning.
Okay, well, we'll definitely keep an eye on that for sure.
Yeah, we're already picking it up from the KOAM tower cam. It's dry as can be right now outside the mothership.
Right.
You look out to the west, you can just see strike after strike after strike coming down.
It's coming. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, authorities in Newton County identify the body found in a well on Wednesday and arrest a suspect for his murder. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the body for an autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. The Oklahoma House gives final approval to a Texas-style ban on abortions. The bill prohibits abortions once cardiac activity can be detected in the fetus. Experts say that's typically about 6 weeks into a pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. Like Texas, the bill also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers or anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion for up to $10,000. The bill now heads to Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who is expected to sign it within days. Crews will be doing some work on the Will Rogers Turnpike this morning. The Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to one lane at mile marker 318. That's between Miami and the Missouri state line. It starts at 9:30 and runs until 1:30 this afternoon for barrier repair. Drivers can expect minor travel delays. Should be alert to workers and equipment on the roadway. Plan your trip accordingly. Kansas House approves a measure authorizing sports betting in the state. The measure says 80% of the revenues from a 10% tax on bets would go to incentives for professional sports teams to come to Kansas. Could be about $5 million a year. The state has been trying to lure the Kansas City Chiefs across the state line for a while. This measure could help with those efforts. The bill now goes to the Senate. Kansas is moving to phase out the nation's second highest state sales tax on groceries. The Senate on Thursday approved a plan to phase out the tax over 3 years. It's currently 6.5%. If the bill becomes law, the tax would drop to 4% next January and then 2% in 2024 and to 0% in 2025. The bill now goes to the House. Earlier this week, lawmakers rejected a plan by Governor Laura Kelly to completely eliminate the tax on June 1st. This September, roughly 5,000 people will be on the campus of Pittsburg State University. They won't be there to attend classes. Campus will play host to the inaugural Four States Music Festival. The event is being put on by Kansas City-based Social House Entertainment. It will feature 5 country music artists, including Chase Rice. A festival of this size could have a big impact on the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, obviously, anytime you have 5,000 people in your town, you have sales tax implications. They will buy food, they will buy gas, things like that. And a lot of them will probably stay overnight in some of the hotels. So all of that has a very strong financial implication for the city.
Organizers say there will be some contributions back to Pitt State from the festival. Tickets are on sale now. You can find out more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin's first dental school is getting closer to accepting its first class of students. On Thursday, KCU Joplin was presented with a $3 million check from the Joplin Regional Medical School Alliance. That check marks the first payment for the dental school after they received their initial accreditation in February. The school continues to work on their building for the dental school. Right now, it's 60% complete and is expected to open by next June.
What's next is we are continuing to build the Oral Health Center and renovate the facility here to become the Dental Education Center, where we'll have classrooms, we'll have study areas for students and faculty offices.
When the facility is complete, it'll be the most scientifically advanced facility in the world. Well, today, back in 2011, Britain's Prince William weds Kate Middleton. Prince William married his longtime girlfriend, Kate, at Westminster Abbey in London. Some 1,900 guests attended the ceremony, while another 1 million spectators lined the streets of London. An estimated 2 billion people around the world watched on television. The bride and groom met in 2001 as students at the University of Andrews in Fife, Scotland. They dated for 8 years before becoming engaged while on vacation in Kenya. They publicly announced their engagement the following month, ending the speculation about whether or not they would ever tie the knot. Quite a couple.
No, I know very little about them.
They stay. I love this picture. Look at the little.
I have seen that picture
Yes.
before because of the disinterested young child in the front.
Oh, yes. Clearly there's.
That is a different picture. That is a live look outside of Television City.
Yikes.
My tower for scale.
This is quite the transition. This is what she was like, oh my goodness, we've got weather we need to talk about instead.
She's right.
Switching over.
She's like, oh my gosh, Michael might show me a lightning strike live on television. No dice, thanks Mother Nature. Appreciate that one. Live look at the Skywatch storm tracker, where we do have plenty of action going on, including the thunderstorm activity that continues to roll toward the state line, going to be on us for really till about, we'll say 7:30. 8 o'clock, flooding our main concern, and this thing has already thrown down hail an inch in diameter.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Connected Culture stops by to talk about a local art event, that requires collaboration from MSSU students. We'll have the details. Plus, Kansas College is cleared of all wrongdoing in a tainted water scandal. And they say 8 hours of sleep is what you need, but for some, it may only be 7. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, a photo of Kansas College baseball team's contaminated water cooler went viral on Twitter. The foul play triggered an investigation into Kansas Wesleyan University's baseball program. Shay O'Connor reports the story didn't play out as first thought.
I still like the photo of it initially. I thought it was weird.
Bethany College freshman Grace Ladner is talking about this picture posted by the Kansas Wesleyan University Barstool Twitter account Sunday. It shows a water cooler with some sort of white substance inside. The post made national headlines. It accused her school of tainting the Wesleyan baseball team's water with paint thinner during their game.
It didn't look like paint thinner.
The initial comments that we got was it was thought to be paint thinner.
Lindsborg Police Chief Michael Davis says it wasn't, but it was something else.
Through our investigation and evidence that we located, it turns out to be paint that is used to paint lines on a baseball field.
And the accusations that Ladner School had something to do with it were wrong.
We're able to come to a conclusion based on some interviews that we did that none of the colleges, anyone associated with the college, was involved in contaminating the water.
Davis says interviews and evidence determined 2 young boys were responsible. Their fates are now in the hands of the county attorney.
How does that make you feel, just to have the college's name kind of cleared here?
Well, that does make sense. I feel pretty good about it.
But Ladner says a lot of the damage to her school has already been done.
You can't really go back on that.
From a single Twitter post.
Wow. Well, some believe the suspicions were heightened by the fact that the 2 small colleges are arch rivals. Now, Kansas Wesleyan and Bethany are just 22 miles apart in central Kansas and are very competitive with each other. Just glad no one got sick. That's a look at today's top national stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. This is a person that is a friend of the show and that we see bi-weekly basis?
Monthly.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Emily Frankowski of Connected Culture. The reason this is a little bit odd for E. Frank and myself is because we're back in person.
Yeah, we're usually, communicating through a screen.
This is so nice.
Yeah,
Emily, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And as I always like to say, thank you for everything that you and Connected Culture do to bring us great events, excuse me, when it comes to being able to take part in things in the 4 states. And here's the great thing, folks. Emily and I were talking during the commercial break about how our habits have changed as far as getting outside and taking advantage and reminding ourselves we can still be safe, practice our distancing, do what's comfortable for you, but be a part of a live event. And so I want to start with spring, and I want to get this right, by Combine.
Yes, you're right. I've been saying combine, but I think that they call it combine.
That's right. That's why I wanted to differentiate between that, because I've been looking at this all morning. Spring, is it in quotes, by Combine.
Yes.
So my question for you is, you're right, I did the same thing. It's at the Post Library. It's free.
Yes.
It's open to the public.
Yep. And
but what exactly is it?
Yeah, so this is a really cool, it's an inaugural event. It's actually a combination of art and design students from Missouri Southern State University. And their inspiration is spring. So you're going to see, maybe a painter, work with a graphic designer, and they're using that spring as their jumping point for inspiration. And so you will see all new artwork created by these students, and it will be hung I think it's in the Bramlage Wilcoxon Gallery within the Joplin Library, but Post Art Library curates all of the art that's happening in the library, and they're located there.
Now I'm putting 2 and 2 together. So spring is our theme and our inspiration, and what we're taking are multifaceted and talented artists and putting them together.
Yes, and seeing what comes of it.
So this is the first time this has been, you say this is the inaugural
event, and I believe it's a group at Missouri Southern, and they work together every semester, and then they've never had a exhibit before, and so we'll just have to go and experience it and see what's happening.
It's an inaugural
one.
We
don't know what it's going to be.
Hopefully it has legs and we can make this sustainable. When somebody comes to you with a first-time event, they have an idea. They're like, okay, I think this can be successful, and I have the guts to try this. How do they, and I say this for maybe people that have a fledgling idea out there that they want to attempt. How do they reach out to Connect to Culture? How do they reach out to Emily Frankowski? How do they get you involved?
Yeah, so for this one, this is more, Post Art Library and Missouri Southern work together. But if anyone, that's kind of the point of Connect to Culture, is that we are a connector. So if you ever have a new idea or you want to work with a different organization in town, feel free to contact us via email, get a hold of us in social media land, and we will find the person that you should work with, connect you with those different people in the community that focus on different types of art, culture, entertainment. We really, our specialty is to know all about that, so it's really easy for us to pinpoint where you should be.
So for maybe lack of a better term, so much about, and I know everybody at home knows this, Emily and I know this, it's not what you know.
It's who you know.
But I can use you're giving me permission to use Connect to Culture to be the who I know because of all the connections that you have.
Exactly.
So everybody keep that in mind. If you have a great, there's no such thing as a bad idea, it's worth trying. Okay, so this is a running joke between Tanya and I. I love yard work. I love to mow my lawn. I love to trim. There's one thing I cannot do.
Is that?
I cannot garden.
I
cannot grow a blessed thing.
Oh no!
But luckily you have a master gardener's class.
Yes.
And you and I have talked about this before, because the term on the surface, master gardener, can be intimidating. It doesn't have to be.
No,
it doesn't. If you can kind of tell people how even those of us without a green thumb can take part in this.
Absolutely. And the person that is going to help you with this is Eric Osen, who is a master gardener. There is a master gardener group in Jasper County. He's a part of it. And he actually, operates out of the Joplin Empire Market where this event takes place.
Oh.
He's been doing this, I think, since March. So it's kind of a series. They have a couple every month. I think it goes throughout the summertime. But in May, there are 2 different opportunities, and one of them is learning how to grow tomatoes, and then the other one is learning all about, insects, pests, and diseases that can kind of stymie growth within your garden. And so you go into Joplin Empire Market's Learning Garden, which is out in the back in the courtyard, and Eric will teach you all about it.
It's
I love it. It's so much fun. For us, we have performances there in that courtyard. The Empire Market's a 4-season market, so you can go there anyways, and I always get greens or bread, but I'm not very good at growing tomatoes either, so, and I'm always having plants, like I love to grow herbs and things like that, but sometimes they just don't do well, like a little pest is like eating away at it, so it's nice to know the easier and more safe ways to get those pests away from, because you can get Roundup and things like that are poisons that hurt the environment, but I'm hoping that Eric will teach us how to do it safely.
And Eric's going to be out of the Joplin Empire Market on May the 14th and May the 28th.
Yes.
You got 2 dates to do that. And once again, you don't be intimidated by it just because you see the phrase Master Gardener.
No.
I've been to these, and here's the thing. While it hasn't made me...
You're not a master yet?
No, it's what I learned. It's just the amount of knowledge that you just walk home with, even though maybe I don't, put my hands in the ground and actually, just like learning about it, just amazes me. So we've got that at Joplin Empire Market, the Master Gardener class on May the 14th and May the 28th. And then we've got Spring by Combine running through at the Joplin Library, really the entire month, right?
Yes, the entire month.
All the way to the end of May. So and once again, free and open to the public as well. I tell you what, I've got to go to break. Can I con you into sticking around because there's a couple of shows, like live entertainment shows that I want to talk to you about.
Absolutely.
Emily Frankowski of Connected Culture. Frank, so great to have you in the studio, and we'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new study estimates more than 316,000 U.S. COVID-19 deaths could have been avoided during the pre-Omicron phase of the pandemic, and 62% of those deaths were in the South. Researchers from Georgetown blame the disparity on differences in mask use, school attendance, and other behaviors. CDC says hypertensive disorders in pregnancy are on the rise and now affect 1 in 7 hospital deliveries. Hypertensive disorders can cause heart attacks and strokes and are a leading cause of pregnancy-related deaths in the United States. Officials say home monitoring of blood pressure during and following pregnancy is one strategy that can help prevent the disorders. 7 hours is the ideal amount of sleep for people middle-aged and older. That's according to researchers at the University of Cambridge, who found too little or too much sleep were both linked to poor cognitive performance and mental health. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, authorities in Newton County charge a man with second-degree murder after finding a body in a well.
Thunderstorm activity now moving from southeast Kansas across the state line. We're mired in heavy rain, and this thing is also spitting out hail. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And Pittsburgh State University hosts the first ever 4 States Music Festival.
The 4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, Michael Hayslip joins us to talk about hail and lightning.
Looks can be a little deceiving when we look outside Television City here. We're actually off to kind of a pretty start there. So we go up our tower that is in the midst of actually coming down. We've been talking about our power project here, and here in the next month or so, that tower will be non-existent as our new antenna that has been delivered goes up. Now let's talk about what we're in the midst of on this Friday morning. Heavy thunderstorm activity. The lightning tracker is working overtime this morning. Remove the lightning so we can see the heavy rain as it moves from southeast Kansas just across the state line now, making its way from Crawford into Barton County along Highway 126. Joplin just about to get started with some shower activity before the heavy rain hits, and then as we transition out into Wilson, Chautauqua, Elk, and Greenwood County, still the torrential rainfall coming down where we've already eclipsed more than an inch of rain. Let's go ahead and combo that with high wind advisories. We're going to gust up to 40 to 45 miles per hour later on today. 'Tis comfortable, just don't go anywhere without the umbrella, as we're in the 60s right now and end up close to 80 degrees. After this passes through, we're a long way from being over. Yeah, Friday afternoon's going to be fine, but look at what develops tonight into tomorrow. This line right here is going to give us additional shots for hail, and it's going to be a foregone conclusion that high winds are going to be in that, and especially for the I-49, I-44 corridor down for Berry, Newton, and McDonald counties. That will be our biggest problem with flooding. Saturday late morning, all through the afternoon and evening. All of Sunday is going to be fine. Sunday night into Monday, we're going to re-roll with additional thunderstorms.
All right, definitely.
Welcome to April and May.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. Potential for severe weather and everything.
Go make that 0.43 inches we picked up at Joplin Regional Airport yesterday. Look like the proverbial drop in the bucket.
There you go. All right, thanks, Michael. Authorities in Newton County identify the body found in a well on Wednesday and arrest a suspect for his murder. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the body for autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. They say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Crews will be doing some work on the Will Rogers Turnpike this morning. The Will Rogers Turnpike will be narrowed to one lane at mile marker 318. That's between Miami and the Missouri state line. It starts at 9:30 and runs until 1:30 this afternoon for barrier repair. Drivers can expect minor travel delays and should be alert to workers and equipment on the roadway. Please plan your trip accordingly. Well, this September, roughly 5,000 people will be on the campus of Pitt State, but they won't be there to attend classes. The campus will play host to the inaugural Four States Music Festival. The event is put on by Kansas City-based Social House Entertainment. It features 5 country music artists, including Chase Rice.
You know, we just thought that it was a great opportunity, you know, and I think there had been some kind of previous conversations where Pitt State wanted to do something like this, but didn't maybe know exactly how to do it or have the right partner. And, you know, and I stepped in and met Pitt State and just really kind of hit it off. And our visions were, you know, very much aligned, and we were off to the races.
Organizers say there will be some contributions back to Pitt State from the festival. Tickets are on sale now. You can find out more on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin's first dental school is getting closer to accepting its first class of students. The dental school yesterday received $3 million from the Joplin Regional Medical School Alliance. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on what this money will mean for the future Joplin dental students.
Joplin is once again one step closer to getting its first dental school. Once completed, it will make Joplin one of the smallest communities with both a medical and a dental school.
When it's completed, the oral health facility, the dental clinic, and the dental education facility will be the most scientifically advanced facility, not just in the United States, but in the world.
On Thursday, KCU Joplin was presented with a $3 million check from the Joplin Regional Medical School Alliance, the first payment as a part of their pledge to the dental school.
The Joplin community has been so supportive of the growth of the medical school and now the development of a new college of dental medicine.
Now, KCU is getting to work so the dental school can welcome its first class of future dentists in the summer of 2023.
We are continuing to build the Oral Health Center and renovate the facility here to become the Dental Education Center, where we'll have classrooms, we'll have study areas for students and faculty offices.
And when it is open, students will have access to unique and state-of-the-art equipment.
We are also investing in a virtual reality simulation. It's almost like sitting at a microscope. You know, you sit, but you put, instead of looking into the microscope, you put a headset on, and you then see an image of a tooth. You pick up a handpiece that feels like a handpiece, and then you drill, and you drill through a tooth.
The university has partnerships in place with community health centers all over the 4 states, ready to work with Joplin's future dentists. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The dental school's dean says their ideal dental student is someone who takes leadership in their community seriously and wants to make the world a better place. Well, today, back in 1929, Cleveland becomes the first MLB team to play with numbers on the back of their jerseys. Cleveland Indians opened the season with numbers on the back of each player's jersey. This is significant because it made them the first Major League Baseball team to do so. The numbers made it easier for scorekeepers, broadcasters, and fans to identify players. Cleveland won the game against the Detroit Tigers in 11 innings with a score of 5-4. Yankees were supposed to debut jersey numbers as well, but their opener was rained out.
Back in that day, what you did is your number corresponded to your normal spot in the batting lineup.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why Babe Ruth was 3. You can run down your Yankee lineup from there. And then if you become a Yankee today, you don't have any numbers left because they just retire everybody.
Pretty much, yeah. So what happened if you wanted to change your lineup? Did you have to change your number too?
No, you just did traditional lineup. Joe McCarthy never changed his lineup with those Yankee teams. There's no reason to. I could have managed those Yankee teams. Garrett, Ruth, go hit. That easy.
True that.
And Tony Lazzari, make sure nothing gets to the middle of the infield. Then I could just sit back and wear my three-piece suit. Skywatch Storm Tracker, we are all encompassed with thunderstorm activity on this Friday morning. No flood warnings or watches as of yet, and I stress as of yet, because we are still several hours from being over. Our temperatures right now in the mid-60s. We're actually going to end up close to 80 degrees after this band rolls through. But remember, do not let your guard down, because even though the afternoon and evening is going to be fine, we've got additional thunderstorm activity rolling in tonight from the northwest, lasting all the way through early Saturday morning as it departs finally out to the southeast.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, President Biden takes a stance on forgiving student loan debt. Plus, home security is important, and it's important to feel safe in the place you call home. And today we want to know, how do you secure your home? We'll let you weigh in. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, Wall Street gained ground on Thursday. The Dow added 614 points. The Nasdaq jumped 382. The S&P 500 rose 103. U.S. GDP fell 1.4% in the first quarter of the year, and that's according to the Commerce Department. It's the first decline since 2020, which came at the height of COVID-19 restrictions. Analysts had expected gross domestic product to gain about 1%. The U.S. is planning to ban menthol-flavored cigarettes. The FDA says it could save more than 600,000 lives over the next 40 years, with the biggest impact on the black population. Menthols make up 37% of the cigarette market and are the choice of 85% of black smokers, compared to just 24% of white smokers. President Biden says he will not be reducing federal student loan debt by $50,000, as some Democrats have been pressing him to do so. But the president admitted he is considering plans for some student loan forgiveness and will have an answer in the next few weeks. There are 43 million Americans with federal loans. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Let's go over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Instapoll and the KOAM News Now Facebook page, talking about home security. Frightening story out of California. A home camera shows a burglar in the home of the Sandoval family, and the burglar standing right over the couple's bed while they slept. Now, they say they had no idea the man was standing there, obviously. The gentleman has 5 different video clips to the suspect, estimates he was inside their home for about 10 minutes. Our question for you is, how do you secure your home? Right now, 34% say it goes with locking the door. I found it interesting that there's actually 4 times as more people that say have a gun than they are say own a dog. And then 26% go with all of these. You can take part each and every morning, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, or connect to us via our Facebook page. Let's come back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Donald Kinnison. Staff Sergeant Kinnison served in the Air Force from 1950 to 1974. He served in France, Germany, and in Vietnam. During his service, he earned the Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, and other numerous ribbons and citations. His hometown, Sheldon, Missouri. We thank you, today's 4-state hero, Donald Kinnison.
You know, Tanya, Jasper Carr, he turned 7. What was that? What would that be? 2015 is when the young man was born? How about? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you told me he came from 1983 off of a ZZ Top album called Eliminator, I'll say that's a sharp-dressed man right there. Check out the tux and the mohawk.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's how you roll, kid.
Heck yeah.
Happy 7th birthday to Jasper.
Happy birthday, Jasper.
That's tremendous.
And a happy 9th birthday going out to Grayson Henderson out in Chanute. Hope you have a wonderful birthday weekend, Grayson.
Oh, it's double digits for A-squared Ace Holloway. He is celebrating his 10th birthday. Happy birthday, Ace in Parsons.
All right. And we've got Garrity Bishop.
That's a good picture.
That's
right
pretty
there,
fun. Garrity is 12 years old this year, celebrating in Nevada, possibly celebrating on the beach.
It makes me a little bit jealous with the palm trees and the ocean and the blue sky and the sunshine. Happy birthday, Garrity. Hallie Smarto, she is now a teenager. And Hallie, a very happy birthday to you. I love the birthday treat right there. I wonder if everybody is going to receive one of those cookies if you're in the 7th grade at Northeast Junior High, because that is where Haley attends school. And Haley, I want you to have a great 13th in Arma.
That's pretty cool. Happy birthday, Haley.
I hope I didn't just put Miss Smarto on the line right there, offering
Right?
cookies to everybody. Feel bad now.
Somebody got a 13 cookie. All right, and we've got Brianna Morris turning 17 years old this year. Brianna's celebrating with love from the Sherrills.
In Moran, Jenny Armstrong is celebrating her 18th birthday as we turn back the clock to, a younger and looks almost mischievous Jenny. And Jenny, I want you to know that these birthday wishes come with love from Mom and Dad.
It looks like she's in the middle of a story explaining why it wasn't her.
Yeah, you are that is exactly what she looks like. I don't know if Jenny has siblings, but I think a sibling got blamed for whatever happened.
She's telling a tall tale right
Yes.
there.
That's
Yep.
exactly what that looks like.
That's so cute. What a cute picture. I'm glad they still have that. That's nice. All right, and we've got Ashton Akins Ainsley. What a great picture there of Ashton in Iola, Kansas. She's now 18 years old.
Emma Koster turning 19. Emma, a very happy birthday to you. I hope you have a marvelous day. She is in Chanute.
All right, in Carl Junction, Rick Flynn celebrating birthday number 32. I don't know what he's doing with those gloves. Maybe some dishes.
It's safety first. He's got OSHA protocols down.
The reaction on his face?
Could be. Could be. Every now and then we love to yell a who dat is if you're a good friend of the show. And so for this next one, we got a who dat is.
Nice pitch there, Tyler.
And here's the best thing: he's showing off.
Yeah, he is.
Because it's not a big deal. He's just like, I just cut another one.
We always joke
No bigs.
the Harrell family gets younger every year instead of
bigs.
older. Yeah.
That is our good friend Tyler Harrell celebrating his 43rd birthday, and apropos because Tyler is one heck of an angler. Tyler, a very happy birthday, especially from me and Tanya as he celebrates in Pittsburgh.
Happy birthday, Tyler. And a happy birthday going out to Tim Crane, who's, wow, that's a pretty cool picture there. Pictured with his grandson, Wiley. He's now 60 years old. Tim, not his grandson, of
Now
course.
think about this. If we can
Hey,
combo
Columbus.
Tyler and Tim together and get them to cook, you and I got it made in the shade. How about that? Kathleen Stroud celebrating her 67th birthday. Miss Kathleen, a very happy birthday to you in Frontenac.
All right, and Miss Iona Phillips celebrating birthday number 88 this year. Pictured there with her great-granddaughter Cameron. What a wonderful picture.
Beautiful.
Miss Iona in Liberal, Missouri.
That is beautiful. Party on in Weir as Mindy Dietz is celebrating a birthday. Mindy, I want you to know this comes with happy birthday from that gentleman that we call Tom. That's Mindy's husband, by the way.
All right, happy birthday, Mindy. You look great. And we've got a 5th wedding anniversary to celebrate for the McGowans. Congrats going out to Wesley and Naomi McGowan. 5 years together.
And speaking of good friends of the show, Frank and Judy Meister are celebrating their 28th anniversary today. The Meisters are in Pittsburgh. Frank and Judy, long time no see. I hope everything is going very, very well for you.
A little throwback pic there. I love it. That's a great picture. And let's see, our list goes on. We've got Megan Sullivan at Medical Lodges, says she's a CNA there, RMA CNA. And Dr. Curtis Gregory celebrating in Columbus.
Jean Lewis, a very happy birthday in Columbus as well. Let the party commence there. And I got a special birthday wish that I have to pass along here. Tony Wakefield, pictured here with his 2 grandkids. As a matter of fact, Tony has a brand new grandbaby as well. Now, the reason this is very, very special is Tony has to make a trip this morning. And Tony, while we wish you a very happy birthday, I want you to know that our thoughts, wishes, and prayers are with you during your trip as well. Congratulations on those grandbabies, and also too, I've had the blessing to meet Tony. Sometimes, out of tragedy, you make a new friend. And Tony, you have meant a lot to me. So happy birthday, my friend, and we are thinking about you, and I can't wait to see you again. All right, happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. That's where you can send them into. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Coming up next on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, our own Jacob Leonard with the story of a 4-state martial artist who earns his black belt. We'll have that story over on Fox 14, and we'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities in Newton County identify the body found in a well on Wednesday and arrest a suspect for his murder. A tip led the Newton County Sheriff's Office to a well on this property on Crane Drive, southeast of Seneca. That's where they found a male victim and sent the body for an autopsy. According to the Joplin Police Department, that victim is 36-year-old Scotty Roller from Neosho, Missouri. Roller had been reported missing. Investigators say on March 18th, Roller had an argument with another man over the purchase of a vehicle. And they say that man, 40-year-old Damian Fisher from Joplin, shot Roller in the back as he was leaving. Detectives say Fisher and an accomplice dumped Roller's body in the well. Police arrested Fisher during a traffic stop on Wednesday. He's now charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. The Oklahoma House gives final approval to a Texas-style ban on abortions. The bill prohibits abortions once cardiac activity can be detected in the fetus. Experts say that's typically about 6 weeks into a pregnancy before many women know they are pregnant. Like Texas, the bill also allows private citizens to sue abortion providers or anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion for up to $10,000. The bill now heads to Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who is expected to sign it within days. And the Kansas House approves a measure authorizing sports betting in the state. The measure says 80% of the revenues from a 10% tax on bets would go to incentives for professional sports teams. In Kansas, it could be about $5 million a year. The state has been trying to lure the Kansas City Chiefs across the state line for a while. This measure could help with those efforts. The bill now goes to the Senate. And Kansas is moving to phase out the nation's second highest state sales tax on groceries. The Senate on Thursday approved a plan to phase out the tax over 3 years. It's currently 6.5%. If the bill becomes law, the tax would drop to 4% next January and then 2% in 2024 and to 0 in 2025. The bill now goes to the House. Earlier this week, lawmakers rejected a plan by Governor Laura Kelly to completely eliminate the tax on June 1st. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Here's where we stand currently as we are mired in thunderstorm activity and will be for the next several hours. Heavy rain and a combo of lightning. We have not picked up any reports of hail in our highlighted counties. Do want to point out that the same system did drop hail right before it got to us, so don't let your guard down in that aspect. We'll clear off this afternoon, work up close to 80 degrees. Then we got what's called a good old-fashioned squall line that's going to develop tonight. So there we go. We start, I'll say about 9:30, 10 o'clock there in the northwest. And as this thing rips through, that's going to be additional high winds and hail to go along with the 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain that will pick up. Saturday late morning, calming down. Going to be a nice Saturday afternoon. Great looking Sunday. Sunday night into Monday. Here comes round 3 to begin the month of May.
All right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a chicken salad bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Morning news continues on KOAM. CBS Mornings coming up next. Anxiety across the country. Soaring prices at the grocery store. Record high gas prices. All that next on CBS Mornings. And what the Biden administration says it's doing to combat the range of price hikes.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Connect to Culture stops back by to talk about rocks and Monty Python.
That wraps it up for this Friday edition. Do me a favor, be safe. We'll do this all again on Monday.
And we're doing it again today at noon.